What hip hop song you know the lyrics to?
Slick Rick's A Children's Story.
Okay, give it a shot.
You're kidding, right?
It was one of those.
Your Highness.
I was chilling downtown with my old school crew. I went into the store to buy a slice of pizza. No, that's Mona Lisa. That's the wrong song. I didn't say Mona Lisa. I said
fighting.
A Children's
Mom,
Story.
Dad, stop fighting.
The DJ got the song wrong.
Jerry.
The DJ got the song wrong.
Right here we have DJ Envy and Gia Casey. What's going on, guys?
What's up, brother?
Hello.
Now listen, it's good that you guys have been together, been down in these streets forever. Now I gotta ask you guys, Envy, you've been a hip hop kid most of your life coming up. You know, DJ was the first thing that you gravitated to, spinning?
Nah, it was actually it was rapping.
Yeah?
I wanted to be a rapper, but I couldn't rap.
See?
I couldn't rap. I didn't know anything about rapping, and how I got into DJing. And for people that don't know, is growing up there was a kid that lived across the street from me named Ernesto. And me and Ernesto used to play basketball. We used to ride bikes. And then one day I was waiting at the bus stop and it was freezing outside. And Ernesto pulls up in this Honda Accord. And back then a Honda Accord was like the Bentley. It was, if you had a Honda Accord, it was.
He was a kid with a Honda Accord.
He was a kid with a Honda Accord. So I ran up to the car and I was like, yo, what do you do? At that time, I thought he sold drugs. I didn't know what he did. And he was like, yo, come by my house after school. And I was like, all right, he lived across the street. So after school, I get off the bus. I had to take 3 buses. I go to his house. I'm like, is Ernesto home? And his mom goes, yeah, he's downstairs. I go downstairs, and when I walk downstairs, I see records. I see turntables. I see tape decks. I'm like, yo, what do you do? He was like, I'm a DJ. I'm like, a DJ? I'm like, well, what's your name? DJ Clue. And all this time, I didn't know Clue was Ernesto. I just thought he was my man. And, and he told me what he did, and I was like, so you get paid to do this? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I want to do this. And that opened me up to start DJing.
Wow. Did you ever have an attempt before DJ Envy with another name?
Yeah. Well, when I started DJing, my name wasn't DJ Envy. It was DJ Shrimp.
DJ Shrimp, right.
Yes. I was 5'4", so I was short. So I was DJ Shrimp. Thank God I grew to 6 foot, 6'1", but I was 5'4". I was real short.
Wow. There you go, man. I love it. So you fall in love with it. And now the style of DJing that Clue was doing to the style of DJing that Rock Raider was doing is two different types of DJing. But did you try to partake into more of the turntablism?
So when I started DJing, I started doing cutting and battling, right? And my favorite DJ at the time was DJ Scratch. So I would watch Video Music Box, and he would have all the battles up there. And I would steal his sets, like Friday the 13th. I'm going to play Jason. And I would learn like that. And I remember my first DJ battle. I battled and I won. And then at the end of the battle, they paid me $200 for winning.
Wow.
And I was like, $200 ain't going to get me that Honda Accord that Clue has.
Yeah.
And I started looking. I see Clue's doing mixtapes, and that got me into the mixtapes. And then I just started doing mixtapes from them.
There you go. Gia out here in these streets. How you doing, sis?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
So listen, you was out there being athletic, young. Did you gravitate to any other sport other than track?
I played softball.
Okay.
I batted fourth and I played shortstop.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Well, you was watching her?
No, back then, she's originally from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then she moved to Queens, where I was from, and went to my high school, and that's how we met. So by that time, she was just doing track, so I didn't know her growing up. But
St. Francis?
So I went to St. Francis Prep in Queens.
Joy Torre? He went there.
Joe Torre went there. Yeah. Who else went there? A couple people went there.
Yeah.
But she
Where in Brooklyn were you?
I lived in East Flatbush.
East Flatbush.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, that's the Jamaican side, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your parents meet in what war?
What?
Yeah, because your dad's Jamaican. Yes?
No.
Your mom?
My father is Puerto Rican.
Okay.
My mother is half Chinese. Well, my mother's father is Scottish, and my mother's mother is half Chinese, half Jamaican. But she was born and raised in Jamaica and didn't come to the States till she was 16.
Wow, you had a fun relationship with your mother-in-law?
Oh man, it was the best. She was one of the ones that held me down. So when I told everybody I wanted to be a DJ, they were like, all right, they were happy because it was a hobby. It kept me out the streets. It kept me in the basement practicing. And then when I graduated from Hampton University, I came home and I was like, I want to do this full time. And my parents was like, nah, you got to get a job with a hat, like a job with some benefits. You ain't no DJing. And her mom and herself were the only ones that was like, nah, do what you want to do. Whatever you need, we'll support.
Nice.
And they supported. And yeah, we had a great job. Like I said, her mom was Asian and Jamaican, so it was dope. So you get jerk chicken, but then you get fried rice.
Yeah.
So it was dope.
So we was here early. I was sitting with Young M.A. a moment ago, and her father's Puerto Rican, but she didn't have much of a connection with her dad because he was in prison for a long stretch. Did you connect with any of your Latino side?
No, my father was an only child, and everyone in his family had already passed away. He didn't have cousins. Obviously, no brothers and sisters. So I didn't really get to connect with the Spanish side of me.
It's like Drez from Black Sheep.
Yes, and my mother's father passed away when she was 16, and he was Scottish, so I never met him. He never knew me. So I was raised by the Chinese Jamaicans. So all of my culture, all of my heritage, all of my history, the music that I love is all rooted in the Chinese Jamaican side of me.
Now, sis, I want to have a real conversation with you.
I want to have one with you too.
Now, Gia, like, identity is a very tricky thing navigating, and I know in hip hop it happens, and I know sometimes you've said this, that Charlemagne would mess with you, saying that you have Latino in you.
Some Dominican, yeah.
Which, which is fine. We come from a beautiful city that's super diverse, but you, in the narrative that a lot of people spin with white folks picking on people in this diverse city, you've kind of went through it in the other spectrum where you were too light-skinned in a scenario, and that was pretty amazing because me, I got stitches from beef that I had, you know, as a kid. Yeah, friends steal some, and then I stand up for my friend, and he runs and
you're left.
Get him, you know what I mean? But if you can, growing up in identity in New York City, because and I'm sure you know, not a lot of cities are as diverse as New York.
Right.
But what was that ride for you coming up? And if you could speak to that specific.
Yes. At the time, I think that our culture was just very divisive, especially amongst young, immature, impressionable young people, particularly young girls. And I just think that a lot of the narrative was to split us up, because if we're talking about, just young girls going to school or living on a block together, hanging out and whatnot, there's no reason why we wouldn't have all just been able to enjoy ourselves as though we were all cut from the same cloth. But just being a lighter complected female, I came across some incidents where I was targeted because of that. Yeah. But there were a lot of things just that emerged from society that caused that. I don't think any of the people that I had problems with were essentially bad people. I just think that a lot of what I went through was more so circumstantial.
Right. And Envy, I want to ask you this question because it gets a little funky in our culture. What's your thoughts, really, if you can speak to it openly? Do you think it's regressive to refer to people of color as light-skinned and you're acting light-skinned? You think there's a space for that?
No, I mean, it's funny at times, but at the end of the day, I'm black. I don't look at light skin, dark skin, brown skin. My parents are darker than anybody in this room. If there's a dark person, I'm like, they're dark, like dark brown, and I'm lighter. That doesn't make me any different from them. I get all the jokes all the time. I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, but at the end of the day, I'm black. I know where I came from. I know what I am. But at the end of the day, I look at myself as a minority as well. So I look at my brown brothers and sisters as brothers and sisters. Like, I got, if you follow me, I do real estate with Caesar, who's Dominican, and that's my brother. You know what I mean? So I don't look at it any which way. I just look at it as we all against whoever wants to go against us.
I'm going to tell you, when you did the thing with Sean Prez and you was talking about Charlemagne referring to that, and then you say, nah, all I know is I'll tell Poppy to go. I was like, damn, we're not all referred to as Poppy, but it's good to see that your partners, the people that you deal with on that side, are a reflection of this city.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great because it's sometimes you don't realize it, but you could empower a kid who doesn't feel seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I think I try to do, and that's why we tell our story. Well, that's the reason we have the book and a lot of things that we do is we're trying to tell our story so somebody could look at me as how I looked at Ernesto. You know what I mean? I never sold drugs. I never did any of that. But I always look back at my life and say, damn, if Clue wasn't Clue and sold drugs, would I be a drug dealer? So I try to show these kids and whoever out there that's looking like, yo, you can have the things that you want in life and you don't have to do anything illegal. I got my college degree. I use my degree. I work hard. I never sold drugs. I never had to do anything illegal to make money, and you can too. You don't have to follow that wrong route. And I always, thank God that Clue was in my life like that, and hopefully I can, be a good example to those kids as well.
You know what? I could also say, does it bring a lot? I think your mom was selling insurance, and your dad was an officer. Was there discipline in the house that kind of kept you sharp, or was you a little wild boy once in a while?
Nah, I mean, I was a wild boy when I got into the industry, but. Now, my dad is a retired police officer, and he kept me straight. My mom is retired. She used to work for Guardian Life Insurance, so they kept me together, kept me strong. When I got in the industry, that's when things got a little crazy, and the reason it got a little crazy was because now I'm that kid in the industry, that light-skinned DJ that everybody just thinks is soft and a sucker. So, like you said, you have to prove yourself even
bro,
more.
what's up with that, man?
It is what it is, but, you
I don't like that. I don't like to see people who worked hard in this business have to have this like shit on their shoulder, like I'm gonna be me regardless, like whatever energy or whatever stereotype you have, I'm gonna be free, I'm gonna be powerful.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be in my superhero shit. And talking about that, you guys definitely turned this into greatness, and I'm looking at real life, real love, life lessons on joy, pain, and the magic that holds us together. Guys, 6 children.
Yeah.
A whole lot of unprotected sex, huh?
All day.
Here we go.
All day.
More like all night.
All night. It don't matter.
And as you get older, it's harder to have it with all these humans around, B.
Nah, we pick our times, man. Usually, nighttime, the kids are, we got to think. We got a 20 and 18,
Come
an 8
on,
and 7
he's
and
hip.
5, and a 6-month-old. So my 20-year-old, she goes to NYU, so she got an apartment in the city. My 18-year-old, he got his own girlfriend, so I'm sure he knows what it is. 8, 7, and 5.
Who's sucking tonight? Who's sucking tonight?
8, 7, and 5. They in bed by 8:30. So the only one we got to worry about is the 4-month-old. But she sleeps through the night, so we good. We just don't make too much noise.
That's good, man. It's really tricky out there, man. Navigating, being older folks, and having kids who are like, they got their clothes off.
Yeah.
It happens. But wow, you put in this book out here now. Gia, I love that you're standing from a place of power, and I think that's a great thing. And it's empowering not only women, but also the concept and idea of relationships in our genre, in our culture as West, and how powerful that is. And you've been on this for a while, so this isn't new. If anything, the book is obviously new, but you've been conveying the energy of the importance of relationships. And if you can speak to that in our
through
culture.
our podcast. It's called The Casey Crew. So Rashawn and I started a podcast, I don't know, how long ago? Maybe 4 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago.
Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And we started the podcast because I guess you could say for the same reason that we wrote the book. We've been through life's highest highs and lowest lows. And people have always wondered, how do you guys get into a place and maintain a place where you're not forced to be together because you made the decision to get married 21 years ago?
Phenomenal.
How do you want to be there? How do you decide that you want to be there every day? Because it's a decision. It's a choice every single day. And we make that choice because we genuinely enjoy each other and because we've learned so much from all of the mistakes that we've made together. And we've come out bigger and brighter on the other side. And I can say, and I wonder if you can say the same thing, but I think that we've cracked the code on our relationship.
Okay.
We're finally in a place where we're all about honesty, accountability, apology when it's necessary, and our relationship is rooted in fun, love.
I dig it. I think I want to talk about how we're raised. Everything's sexualized. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys, like, yo, did you bang that? Did you know what I mean? And I lost mine young, later in life in the degree of what constitutes right in the hood. Because, in the hood, everybody's having sex young,
Right.
But was that pressure there for you as well? And you know, you was on your athletic game.
No,
but he's coming into the business, so
for our relationship, it wasn't. Like, I think that's what made us connect, because they used to call me a turtle, because not that I wasn't into sex, but that wasn't the first thing. I was young, and like I said, I was more concerned with DJing. So we really connected and became best friends because it wasn't sex driven. It wasn't like I met her and was like, oh, I want to smash tomorrow. I want to put my hand, like, it wasn't that. We became friends
Homies,
first.
yeah.
And then from there, we, became intimate and intimacy and then sex. But so that was one thing that we didn't have to worry about in our relationship, which just made us just worry about us and being friends and finding out about each other and what she likes and what I like. So when I look at my wife, I look at her as my real true homie. Like, you know how you can call your homie and say, yo, I need help with this. That's how I call my wife. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the best thing about it. And, part of the reason what you were saying before, and the reason that we did the book and we did it like this is because you can go to the barbershop and you have conversations about who's your favorite basketball player, right? LeBron or Michael Jordan, who's your favorite rapper, Eminem, 50, Kendrick, or whatever it is. But we never have the conversations about, like, yo, I just got in an argument with my wife about this. Am I right or wrong? Talk to me. And then we can have men conversations like, yo, bro, you bugging. And you can be like, you know what, babe? I was talking about this in the barbershop. I was talking about this with my man. You was right or you were wrong. We don't have these conversations because a lot of times people feel like if we have these conversations, we soft or we a sucker or, oh, you this, yo, you're a soft boy or you this. But these are the conversations we need to have to protect our families. Yeah. Protect those minority families, the black love, the brown loves, and all that. Those are the conversations we need.
We definitely do. There's not a lot of conversations or enough for us to kind of be divulgent in a positive way, a progressive way. And a lot of us, that get pent up, and then people argue, and you're like, well, mom and dad are arguing again.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's super difficult. But would you ever picture a moment where DJ Shrimp and Ernesto are sitting down and you're like, yo, I'm about to do a book with this girl that I'm in school with?
Never in a million years. A book was not on the table. Even being as transparent, when you get a chance to read the book, I talk about some things, and we both talk about some things in the book that I would never, ever talk about. Like, I talk about my insecurities. I talk about me wanting to commit suicide. We talk about
I seen that,
cheating. We talk about forgiveness. We talk about we talk about it, but we talk about it in a way where hopefully we can help other couples or other people out there.
I love graffiti. I love breakdancing. I love all this, right? And when I see a lot of things going around with y'all, I like to read about, like, you guys in school, track, you fall in love with DJ Scratch, and all these stories is what gravitate to me. But then how do you feed the monster in the sense of, like, it's going to help sell the book when they're talking about not having good sex and stuff like that? How do you navigate a private life publicly?
Nah, it doesn't, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm at a place in my life where I don't care what anybody else thinks. Okay. I'm doing it for a purpose, right? So when I started doing real estate and I wanted to teach people real estate, I felt that it was my purpose to teach my community how to do it. So now that me and my wife has been through so much that we've been together 27 years, married 21, I feel like it's our place to teach people if we can.
Yes.
So when it comes to...
Look at me saying yes. Like, yes!
So when it comes to, like bad, we talk
I felt them on that. That's how
that's true.
I was there.
When I talk about my wife not having good sex, for the first 10 years...
Hold on, the sex was good. It's not that it wasn't good. Just because I wasn't having an orgasm... did not mean that it wasn't good.
Me not being able to give her an orgasm, right?
During sex.
That was a good sound effect. I like that. But, it was, when we met, I was 16, she was 15. I was her first, she was my first. So we learned on each other. And I learned from watching a porno. When you watch a porno, you just bang, 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 bang. And you think that's what it is. But there was a lot that needed to be learned. And what made our sex life better after that was us having conversations and talking to it. And, it's funny, it hit the blogs yesterday, and people were like, oh, they're laughing. But if I can tell you how many women hit my DM and hit my wife's DM, it was like, look, I'm glad that your husband said that, because now I could have that conversation with my boyfriend. Okay. Now I can have that conversation with my husband, because I've been faking for years. And those are the conversations that we want to have. Like, it ain't nothing to be ashamed of. I got 6 kids and we good now, but I had no idea what I was doing. And sometimes we think we do, but are you really pleasing your spouse? Are you really pleasing your wife? Or is it just she's like,
I mean, it goes on. She doesn't really know, because she's also learning as well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, for me, I didn't know my own body.
Right.
So how do you teach somebody how to please you when you don't know what it takes to please you? So he was just basically bumping around in the dark.
Right.
You know, and I didn't have a flashlight to help him. So that's what it was like.
And when did you feel like, yo, I kind of got this shit locked? I'm nice.
I would
Let her answer this question.
Okay, all right.
It was
when he started blowing that back out correctly.
No, he was, and I want to be very clear. He was always amazing. He
revealed the early years and the dark, the little thing that you said.
No. What I mean is he didn't know how to bring me to an orgasm. It didn't mean that what he was doing was flawed or faulty.
He was watching porn, man, like all of us, right? We didn't know.
To be honest, it's not much different than the type of intimate moments that we share now. It was me. I was too busy being performative in bed. I was too worried about pleasing. I was too worried about getting an A+ that I didn't take the time to be selfish and think about myself. And then when I saw him working so hard and I have all these things going on in my mind, I just wanted to give him his A+. I wanted to satisfy his ego and reward him with an orgasm. And it wasn't real, but it was because of me. So our sex life changed when I decided that I was going to be selfish and I was going to be more comfortable with myself, and I was going to figure out what it took and allow what he was doing to actually please me. And I think that that's the reason why so many women don't have orgasms, because they don't understand that, and they don't have a mother that they speak to or an older sister to put them up on game. And that's part of the reason why we wrote the book. Women have to figure out themselves. It's not because your husband isn't good in bed. You have to figure out your body.
Okay. That's cool. I love it.
But then there are women whose husbands aren't good in bed. But that just wasn't that wasn't my situation.
You know what must be tricky? If that we being in that early relationship and cuz I had that teenage love and it went for a stretch, and then you don't know what new ideas to bring in. And if you if he's talking porn, in all fairness, like they're coming on the faces and shit.
Right.
And when am I going to do that? Or when is it okay for the shorty I've been rocking with?
It's the truth.
But we want the book to open up conversations so that you can ask your partner, is it okay to do that? Would you enjoy that? How do you feel about that? You want to try it?
Damn,
do you know what I mean?
shit.
Like, that should be okay. When you're in a relationship with someone that you love, nothing should be off the table. Nothing should be taboo. You should never feel as though you can't come to them with an idea, or you might embarrass them or embarrass yourself by asking.
Yo, you know what though? Sometimes, and you're you're hilarious because you brought it up. Shit be wild what goes in maybe a woman's head too, but the shit that you see,
yes.
And then when you start being friends with some of these adult stars and you're like, that's what they do professionally, and you're like, damn, man, can I even try that? Like, am I bold enough to try that? Like, have you, and I'm asking you seriously, like guy to guy, you ever tried like something wild?
You have to think about it?
Nothing. I mean, I got to think about what's wild. Like what do you consider
like
wild?
You ever, creamed on the face, ass shit, just shit that was. I'm talking to a dude. I'm talking to a couple.
But I'm amused by it.
Real.
So
this is what the fuck you wrote the book for.
I know.
So when it comes to me and my wife, I'll be honest with you. I think part of my problem is I look at my wife as a queen, right?
Yes.
When I say look at her as a queen, there's certain things I would do with a queen, and there's certain things I would do with a porn star.
Yes.
And so, for instance, like somebody's ever said, you ever thought about doing a threesome with your wife? No. I can't see my wife with anybody else. Not even a dude, not a chick, nobody. I can't. So certain things, like somebody says, excuse my friend, like, would you pee on your wife? I can't. I'm not peeing on my wife. Now, if she's somebody else, yeah, all day, yeah, whatever.
Awesome. That's great.
I'm sorry.
Just like that.
But that's how I feel. Yep. So for myself, what's left? Yeah.
Hold on. Do you have pee sound effects?
No, stop with the sound effects, man. Stop it.
So it's certain things. So yeah, wow, we done did things outside in public in the car. We did things at airplanes. We did things all white place.
Limelight. Y'all ever wild out in club like a club that's open?
I've never been to Limelight, but it was open.
Yeah, you did the Running Man. Were you nice at dancing?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she was nicer than you.
Yeah. What? Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got to think she's from Brooklyn, so. she was raised off of Jamaican music and KRS-One.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
she was raised off, and I'm from Queens, so shout out to KRS-One. I was never a KRS-One fan because he always ished on Queens.
I know, but you was always in you. Like I feel like, and you gotta admit, DJs were very much in their house, kind of studying their craft while a lot was happening outside.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I'm sure she was out there having a blast, and you were inside
Practicing.
going and watching fucking porn.
And watching porn.
But I was also in the basement with him, telling him what blends I thought would sound good. So there was that too.
What hip hop song you know the lyrics to?
Oh my gosh, a lot.
Tell me one.
Hip hop song that I know, Slick Rick's A Children's Story.
Okay, give it a shot.
You're kidding, right?
I'm absolutely, we have a segment
Do you
called
have it?
Lyrics to Go.
Rap over it.
No. You just go and see if you can remember. Well, it was one of those days, right? That's that one? Come on.
That was
Come on, Shrimp.
No, that's the intro to
It was one of those.
Your Highness.
I was chilling downtown with my old school crew. I went into the store to buy a slice of pizza. No, that's Mona Lisa. That's the
Mona
wrong
Lisa.
song. I didn't say Mona Lisa.
Stop
I said
fighting.
A Children's
Mom,
Story.
Dad, stop fighting.
The DJ got the song wrong.
Jerry.
The DJ got the song wrong. A Children's Story. Start it.
Come on, fam. You gonna make me do this, Envy?
Start it for me. I can't remember
Come
the
on,
first
I
verse.
don't. A children's story, B. Children. I know. Slick Rick is
Slick
listening
Rick's
right
A
now.
Children's Story.
He's like putting back his eye patch right now, and he's like,
Are my
hold
headphones on?
Yeah, here we go. You ready?
I don't hear it.
All right. No. I'm gonna.
Now it's on. Now my headphones are on. Go ahead.
Here we go. Once again, not a long time ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow. Damn, you know those lyrics?
Yeah, go ahead. Can you play it?
No, you gotta rap it.
Rap it, fam. But pick another song. You're making this very difficult. I'm about to put on a porn so me and fucking Envy could just enjoy
Go
it.
ahead. Start it again.
This is I didn't really. Once upon a time, not long ago,
where people wore pajamas and lived life slow, where laws were stern and justice led, where people were hyping like they're all too good. There lived a little boy who was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said: "You and me, time are going to make some cash, robbing old folks and making a dash." They did the job. Money came with ease. They robbed and couldn't stop, like they had a disease. They robbed another and another, and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a DT undercover. The cop came something. He
grabbed his arm and grabbed it radically.
He said, "Hold still, boy. No need for static." Punched him in his belly and he gave him a slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped. The boy put out the gun. He said, "Why'd you hit me?" The barrel something straight for the cop's kidney.
Hold on, Envy. You got to do the Running Man while she's doing this, B.
No,
the kitty started to figure how many years if he pulled this trigger. So he cold dashed and ran around the block. Cop radioed in to another lady cop. Something. There was cops all over. Shot for the wait.
Oh my gosh, that's enough. You guys won.
Shot for the head,
oh
shot
my, DJ Envy, Gia Casey, the book for all my homies out there who know how to read American. It is called Real Life, Real Love, Arm Wrestling with No Shirt On, and Handball. Life lessons on joy, pain, and the magic that holds us together. Envy.
Yes.
My brother, thank you because you have a lot of children.
Yes, 6.
Thank you for being a good dad.
Thank you so much.
Gia, thank you for the successful, unprotected sex you guys have had.
Yes.
I hope, a lot of success for you guys. And this becomes a vehicle for you guys to be able to tell your story. And I know I'm not sure if you've reached that point where you're jaded. You're like, I'm in this game. This is what I do. When was the last time you really felt good rocking a party?
Every time. That's my favorite thing to do.
Don't play with me, B.
Everything that's.
What was the last party that you was like,
I do a party every week in Cavalli in New York, but I don't really do New York parties as much because New York just stand on couches and look at you.
You know what?
So I like to go out of town, and I do parties every week, and that's the best part of my career now. And I love the radio, but it's nothing better when you walk in the club and somebody's having a fucked up day, or their man left them, or their woman left them, or they just got fired, and you can change how they feel. And that is the best feeling in the world. So I love to DJ. I love the instant reaction. So I DJ everywhere, every week, in every club. It doesn't matter. I'm not an EDM DJ. I play hip hop. I play reggae, and I love that, and I will never leave that.
Gia, escapism's a very beautiful thing. I've had it with watching cartoons growing up and stuff like that. As an adult, what's some things that you do
To escape?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I spend a lot of time with my children. We spend a lot of time together doing adult things. We travel a lot. When he does shows out of town, often I go with him because that's when we get sexy time away from the kids, and we can just concentrate on ourselves because our lives are so busy, and almost every hour of his day is accounted for. So when I'm not concentrating on him, I'm able to concentrate on the rest of my family. So taking them to softball games, baseball games, soccer, swimming, gymnastics, acting, you name it. My kids are in activities 6 days a week.
That's the job, fam.
Yes. So I truly enjoy pouring into them so I can see what they gravitate mostly to and what they'll do with it in the future.
Dealing with a situation with the child about to leave to go to college. I know you guys got one local.
Yes.
Is it something that you would advocate? Would you be what would your thought process be on kids wanting to travel and be away from?
I wanted my daughter to go away to college.
Yeah, we both did.
Okay.
I don't think she got the experience that she did. I mean, and this is the God's honest truth, right? So I grew up in Queens, right? And even though I went to St. Francis Prep, which is a Catholic school and predominantly white school, when I got home, I'm in the hood. I'm with my friends. We're playing basketball. We go into the bodega. We doing this, that, and the other. For my daughter, she didn't get to experience that. Since we did well and we were doing well financially, she lives in a different area. So she's never got that love. She never got that feeling. So I wanted her to go to an HBCU.
She doesn't have that urban
I wanted her to go to an urban experience.
It's tricky.
And NYU is not. It's not urban. I mean, it's not. She doesn't get that feeling, and I think it saddens her sometimes she doesn't get that feeling, but it's one of the best colleges in the country.
Yeah, it is.
So it is what it is.
Guys, DJ Envy, he just started his career. He sent a demo to us. Wasn't a fan of it. However, it was the cover letter that Gia wrote.
There you go.
I said, let's give him a shot. They wrote a book, guys. Go out there, check it out if you're interested. It is real love, real life, real love. Life lessons on joy, pain, and the magic that holds us together. I am thankful. Hopefully, you guys. Is this mine?
That's your book. Yeah,
Can you autograph? I'm a collector.
Of course.
I collect.
Yeah.
You collect? You collect anything?
Oh yeah.
Besides fucking sex toys, 'cause that's
No,
what
no.
fucking
No.
Young M.A. came with.
No records. We collect. I love my records. I love old BMX bikes, my old scooters,
my
my
God.
GTs,
We'll
my
talk off the
mongoose,
air.
and all that. I love
Guys,
that stuff.
Guys, if you ever need a Slick Rick and he's too busy, Gia's right here.
Yes, but I charge a lot though. You got to get your pennies up before you call me.
Hey,